It's up. JW turn G, you already know. This video gonna be a little different, okay? I'm gonna just play this little bullshit in the background right here. Look at this nigga, man. Anyway, I'm gonna just play this shit in the background, but I got some stories that I want to tell because this shit is funny, okay? And for anybody that was a witness, that grew up a witness, this shit gonna be wild. So, I grew up in a big city, and there was a bunch of congregations. Like, there was a lot of congregations in the city that I grew up in. I was obviously in the English, right? But, I mean, there was Spanish, there was sign language, there was, like, Korean, other foreign languages. And so, everybody kind of hung out, and this was, like, right after high school, right? So, we was, like, 19, 20, like, around that age. So, everybody kind of hung out with the young people in your congregation. But from time to time, if there was a party or if there was something going on, which I'll get into later, look at this Jason Statham looking ass motherfucker. Hold on, let me not get distracted. I ain't even gonna look at it. I'm gonna just talk, okay. So, from time to time, if there was parties and shit, you know, the congregations would mix and everybody would be in there. And then, like I said, I'll kind of get into that later. But I'm gonna start off with a specific story and then I'm gonna just go down the line. I'll tell like maybe 3, right? Because I got 3 off the dome right now that I want to talk about. So, in my congregation, it was 5 homies, right? Like, and we would do everything together. Like, we was hooping, playing basketball, going out. Like, you feel me? We was always together. And there was this chick in the hall who we called the throat goat for obvious reasons. You feel me? Okay. And she was not shy about her expertise. And she domed every motherfucker in the area. No lie. Okay. Now, she was cool as shit, right? That was the homie. Me and her was cool, right? I never experienced her professionalism, you know, because I had a rule. I never really messed with the witness girls because I was so scared of getting caught up, you know. But from the homies and everybody that I was around, I heard about her throat goat activities. Now, me and her was cool, so she would always just kind of like mess with me. We would just like mess with each other just for fun, right? And so it was this one time when I'm roving the microphones. And for anybody that don't know, that's like a privilege, is what they call it. It's a privilege that young men in the congregation get because they have question and answer parts. So when they call on somebody's name from the stage, the microphone rover would walk up and down the aisles and hand them the microphone so they could say their part. So you have to stand in the middle of the aisle to, you know, be ready to give them the microphone. So there was this one time when she got up to go to the bathroom and she walked past me and I'm holding the microphone and she comes by and she whispers in my ear, she goes, "Come to the back, let me suck your dick." Oh shit, mind you, I got the microphone in my hand. So as soon as she starts talking, I already knew she was gonna say some wild shit. And so it kind of picked up the first couple words, but I moved the microphone out the way, right? So nobody heard really anything, right? But everybody was kind of like, what the fuck was that, right? But nobody knew what she said, okay? But she said it to me. I just, you know, I laughed because she would always fuck with me like that, right? And so I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? Like, why would she say that, right? And so she would do shit like when we would get up to sing the songs, like everybody would stand up to sing the songs. And she would hit me with a text and be like, "Can you see my thong through my skirt?" or she would say some shit like, "How does my ass look?" And I'd just be like, "God damn, yo, G, relax," right? But she was funny, right? She was cool. Like, that was just her personality. That's just how she was. And like I said, she would dome everybody in that motherfucker. Now, there was a time at a graduation party when her and a dude went out to the back. You feel me? She did her little throat goat activities. And then came back into the party and started making out with, I guess it was her quote-unquote boyfriend. Started making out with him. And he had no fucking clue about what just happened. And this, yes, we was all witnesses. This was all going down. We was all witnesses. Shit was brazy. Okay? Now, remember, it's a big city, so there's a lot of congregations. So we was always really checking for the Spanish girls in the congregation, right? The Spanish congregation, because they was really the ones that was throwing parties all the time. Whenever the English would have like a party or a gathering is what they would call it, it was like when somebody graduated, right? But the Spanish congregations was every Sunday. They was getting down every Sunday for no reason, just to do it. So we would always try to get invited so we could go holler at the girls in the Spanish hall, right? And so, you know, we was some fly young niggas, I ain't gonna lie. We was some fly ass young niggas, so we was successful at it, right? And so now we would pull up to the Spanish parties, you feel me? And we had to learn how to dance and shit. Like, it was funny. Like, like it was a time. It was a time. We had to learn the Spanish dances, right? So we could show out when we got there. And the brothers in the Spanish halls, they did not like us because we was coming into their parties talking to their girls and shit, right? So they really wasn't fucking with us. And so what we would do is we pull up to the party, holla at the girls, get their numbers, whatever. And then when we would go out on the weekends, or when we would have like a little kickback at the crib or whatever, we would invite them. Okay? So before I get to the kickback party, what happened, so there was this spot that we used to go to. It was a little bar. And they didn't ID. It was like an outside type shit, right? But they didn't ID, so we could just walk up in there, pull up on a table, and then get some drinks. So one of my homeboys had hit me up about one of the girls. And he was like, hey, you know so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, I know so-and-so. And she was bad, mind you. This bitch was bad, okay? And he was like, man, like, what's up with her? And I'm like, oh, she about that action. You feel me? She about that action, my boy, if you want to see what's up with it. So he was like, all right, bet, let's go out. So I was like, all right, say less. So we get everybody together, feel me? Pull up to the little bar. And mind you, like, we was young. We had jobs and shit. So, you know, we was whenever we would go out, we would hit the mall and go get some shoes or go get a fit or whatever the fuck, right? So I remember before I got to the bar, I went to the mall. And I had bought like 4 pairs of shoes, right? And I had the shoes on my back seat. And whenever we would go out, like, I would always take my own car, right? Because I always had some extracurricular shit that I was doing afterward that I didn't really tell nobody about, right? So I would always take my own car. So we pull up to the little bar or whatever, right? Everybody gets there. We at the table. Everybody chopping it up, talking, blah, 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 right? So my boy and old girl are over there talking to each other, getting to know each other, having a good old time. Then he hits me under the table. He taps my leg. And I look up and he like whispers to me. He's like, yo, like, let me get your keys. And I'm like, oh shit, my nigga finna go to the car, okay? So I slide this nigga the keys, right? And him and old girl dip. They going, I don't know, maybe like 30, 45 minutes, whatever, right? And everybody knows, right? Because it's just what happens, right? So everybody knows what's going on. So they dip, they go to the car, whatever. They come back, he slides me the keys, whatever. We drinking, having a good time, playing games, whatever the fuck going on, listening to music, dancing, right? Cool. We get ready to leave. I go to my car. Mind you, I had 4 brand new boxes of shoes on the back seat. I get back to my car. The boxes are smashed. It's shoes fucking everywhere. There's a shoe on the fucking dashboard. There's shoes on the floor, on the seat. I'm like, man, what the fuck was going on in this bitch? The passenger seat is reclined all the way back. Right? I'm like, god damn. And it smells like sex in the fucking car. Like, everybody knows that smell. Especially in a small-ass car. So I got the fucking windows down on the way home. Like, god damn, my nigga. So I call up my boy. I'm like, hey, yo, what the fuck happened in my car? He's like, oh, shit. So we got in there. She hop on top in the passenger seat. And then they go to the back and get crazy. And I'm like, damn, all right. I mean, I guess I knew something was going to happen, right? Cool, whatever. Okay. Literally, 7 days later, right? This is next Saturday. There's a little kickback at one of the girls at her crib. There's a little kickback, right? So all the homies is there. The girls is there. And then there's 2 girls from the Spanish, right? That we invited, but they didn't show up. And she was one of the girls, the one that was just in my car with old boy. She was one of the girls. We invited her and her other friend to come through. Okay? They weren't there yet. So they call my other homeboy, and they're like, yo, our mom won't let us out the house. Like, we can't come, right? And we're like, man, fuck, right? Like, those was 2 of the girls that we wanted to be here, right? And so then they call back, and they're like, hey, can one of y'all come pick us up? We're going to sneak out the window. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they really about that life, right? So I told my boy, I'm like, hey, yo, can you go get him? So, you know, this nigga pulls off. He pulls off. About an hour later, my boy pulls up with the girls. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Right? So we at the crib. Everybody's drinking. We taking shots. And mind you, we're all, like, around 19, 20, like, probably the oldest is probably, like, 22, right? So everybody's, like, new to drinking. So at that time when you're drinking, like, you drink to get fucked up, to get blacked out, right? You're not just drinking socially, right? So we going hard. So it was old girl, the one that was in my car with my boy. He wasn't there, though, right? But she was coming. So one of my other homeboys sees her. And mind you, she was very attractive. This is a very attractive female. And it's weird because, like, I feel like when you grow up in the organization that's like that, it's so strict that I feel like the girls that were pretty or attractive, they felt like they needed to do the most to get attention or to just kind of like be accepted because we were all doing shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, I feel like it was extra compared to other like worldly people or like people that are used to doing stuff like that. It was like turned up a little bit in the organization just because it was so strict. So she pulls up, everybody's drinking, and next thing, my homeboy, he's sitting next to her on the couch, and he hits her with the classic ass line. Because remember, she was from the Spanish congregation, right? And we all just some niggas. And so he hits her with the classic ass line. Oh, so you speak Spanish? Yeah, you should teach me. Right? So there they go, whispering in each other's ear and shit. And I'm just sitting back observing. I'm like, ah, shit, here we go. Right? So I think like around this time, everybody had went into like the kitchen to go take more shots and shit. And they were still out there in the living room on the couch. And so I remember we're taking shots. And then we look out, we like, hey, where is old boy and old girl? And we look out, and they just sitting on the couch talking to each other, right? So we're like, whatever, fuck it. We in there having a good time, drinking, whatever. And then time goes by, we look again, and they making out crazy with each other, right? And we all in the kitchen like, oh, shit, right? So then we go back to drinking, chopping it up. We look back. Now she's sitting on top of old boy. He got her skirt pulled up, her ass is out. And they just going crazy, right? And we're like, oh, fuck, goddamn, right? So then again, we taking more shots and drinking and shit. And then we look, and they're gone. And we're like, hey, yo, where the fuck they go? Right? So we go out there to the living room. We trying to find them. The bathroom door is locked. And we're like, oh, shit. Right? So we like listening in on the door and shit. And so the girl that she came with, she gets like all righteous and holy and shit. And she starts like banging on the door like, yo, you need to get out of there. Like, what are you doing? Like, she starts going crazy, right? And we're like, oh, fuck. Right? And so as soon as somebody starts acting crazy, it's like you just kind of like sober up, right? Because it's like, damn, like she kind of ruined the shit. Like, whatever. So she starts beating on the door. They open the door. My nigga got a condom in his hand. My nigga got a condom in his hand, and she's sitting on the sink. Right? We're like, oh, shit. Right? So the girl, she gets pissed. She's like, yo, you need to come on. We need to go, blah, blah, blah. And so they had got, my boy went and picked them up, right? And so we're like, well, shit, somebody needs to drop them off at the crib, right? So we're like, well, who the fuck is sober? So somebody takes them back home. They go to the crib, right? Whatever. So now, what we find out later is that they went back to the crib and started 69ing, making out with each other, sticking markers up their coochies, like, whenever, and see, we didn't know this at the time. I found this out way later by talking to one of my homegirls that left the congregation like I did, right? She ended up leaving. And she told me that anytime it was an all-girls sleepover or anytime the girls were getting together, they was all fucking each other, right? And so, like I said, I didn't know this when it was happening. I found this out later. And now, they weren't lesbians, right? But I think that they wanted to experience and explore some shit. And that was just kind of like the safest, I guess, low-risk way to do it, right? And so this was happening all the fucking time. This was all girls, though. There were no dudes there. These were all girls. And it was a shitload of them. And these were attractive females, you know what I mean? Like, like, this shit was crazy, groundbreaking-ass news when I found this out. Like, what the fuck is happening, right? But they were having all-girl orgies. And it wasn't just, oh, like, spin the bottle and a little peck, little kiss. Like, they was 69ing. They was fingering each other. They was putting markers up there. They was eating ass. Like, they was doing all of this, right? What the fuck? Shit crazy, okay? Now, fast forward a little bit more, and there were 3 couples, okay? And it started at IHOP. It started at IHOP after, like, a night out, because that was always a spot to go to because they were 24/7. So we would end up at IHOP at, like, 2 a.m. just to sober up and eat some pancakes before we went back home. And so now, these are 3 married couples, right? And so they're just talking about sex with each other. Where's the craziest place y'all had sex? What's the freakiest thing y'all have done? Blah, 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 right? And so they just trading stories back and forth. Oh, well, we had sex in the bathroom at the club. Oh, we did this, right? They going off. And so I think that conversation just kind of intrigued the group, right? So what happened is the next weekend, they all decided to go out together, okay? And so they were at one of the dudes' houses, one of the married couple's houses. And the girls come out of the room because they were getting dressed. So the girls come out of the room and they got on the sluttiest dresses. Sluttiest dresses, right? And at first the dudes is sitting in there like, yo, like, y'all need to go change. Like, what the fuck is y'all doing, right? And then they're like, nah, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let's go out like this. Like, let's have a good time. Mind you, this is a week after they had this little freaky-ass, intriguing conversation, which I think sparked some shit in all of them. They just didn't know it, right? They knew it. They just didn't say it to each other, right? But the elephant was in the room. So they put on these freaky-ass fits. They go out to the club, have a good time, whatever, right? On the drive back home, everybody drunk. And so the freaky shit starts to come out more, right? So one girl pulls her titties out in the whip, right? Mind you, they're all married. This is 3 couples, right? 3 couples married. Pull her titties out in the whip. Haha, whatever, right? Having a good time, okay. They get back to the crib. They start making out with each other, right? Then all 3 girls are lined up on the couch, facing the wall with their asses out. and they dudes come up and start fucking. So they lined up on the couch fucking each other. Okay? Then one of them gets the bright idea, hey, we should switch. We should switch. Okay? One of the dudes can't get it up, right? I guess it was too much going on for him. He can't get it up. So he goes out to the front lawn to smoke, right? So he says, hey, I'm going to go smoke. You can have fun with my wife, just don't fuck her. That's what he tells the other two. You can have fun, just don't fuck her. So they proceed to swap. And I think she got fucked. I forgot for sure, but I think she got fucked, right? So they up in that bitch swapping, going crazy, right? So then they end up falling asleep, waking up the next morning, and the house is like, there's panties over here, there's a fucking dress over there, this is knocked over, right? And they're like, holy shit. I guess it like kind of set in like what actually happened, okay? So then, I think, some time goes by and one of them starts to feel bad about what happened. So they go to the elders, right? And they just, and this is where the throat goat comes in. Because this person went to the elders and just started spilling the fucking beans, right? So everybody's name comes up. And then the throat goat, she's like, fuck it, I'm just about to tell my shit, right? And so around this time, all the young people are like freaking out because they're like, God damn it, like I'm about to get this fellowship. We're all gonna get in trouble because we were all doing some bad shit. Even if we weren't doing it, we were there and nobody said anything, right? So I'm like, fuck, because I was there on multiple occasions. You feel me? Like I was there when a lot of this shit was going down. So the throat goat sent out like a mass text and she was like, yo, pretty much I'm about to tell my shit. Like I don't really give a fuck. Like I'm out this bitch. And whoever's name is in there, like, I'm sorry. That's pretty much what she said, right? And so I was like, fuck, right? I was like, damn it. Like, this is what I was trying to avoid this whole fucking time. So I remember I got to the meeting and I had an assignment that night, right? I had to give a talk. And I'm like going through it, right? So I remember I told the brother before the meeting, I was like, yo, like, I can't give this talk. I feel sick, right? I can't do it, right? And so he was like, okay, no problem. Like, we'll get somebody to substitute for you, whatever, right? Because I was feeling bad. Because I was like, I can't be up here giving this talk and then my shit finna get exposed. You know what I mean? So then throat goat comes up to me and she's like, hey, I'm gonna leave you out of it. Don't even worry about it. You're good. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I appreciate you, my nigga. Like, you a real one. You feel me? Oh man. But after this, multiple elders was calling my phone talking about, hey, do you know so-and-so? Hey, do you know so-and-so? Hey, we need to talk about this. Hey, where were you on this date? Hey, were you here when this happened? And I'm picking up the phone like, nah, I don't know. Nah, I don't know what happened. Who is that? Nah, I don't know anything about that. All right, I just denied the fuck out of everything until they just stopped calling my phone. And so it was a crazy time because people was just falling off left and right. They was just getting up there. So-and-so is disfellowshipped or no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, so-and-so no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, motherfuckers was just falling off like crazy, right? And so this was around the time when I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, this shit's starting to shake up. Like, we gotta chill out. We gotta... Oh, man. So it never really stopped. Motherfuckers just got better at hiding it. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers just got a lot better at hiding it. And it was funny because whenever people would move into our congregations and start hanging out with us and shit, they thought we were, like, terrible because, like, the shit that we would go and do, right? And they were like, yo, in my congregation, like, where I'm from, we never do no shit like this. And we're like, oh, this is just like a regular-ass weekend for us. Oh, man, so it's a lot of shit that would go down in the congregations. That's not even scratching the surface of the stories that I got, really. That's just some shit that I just thought about because, like I said, I had time today. But fuck it. If you fucked with this or if you want to know more, you feel me, let me know. I got more stories. I got a shitload of stories. There was a lot of stuff that happened. But I also feel like because we grew up in a big city, in an organized religion, I feel like the shit that we did and the shit that went down was turned up more because it was so strict. So it was like you wanted that feeling of being free so bad that you were just down to do some crazy shit. And the shit would go down like that. And that was just like a regular ass weekend, you feel me? And then we was at the meeting on Sunday. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to hear some more stories or you feel fucking with it or you got some stories of your own or questions, comments, whatever the fuck, holla at your boy. But it is what it is. JW turn G.